a car battery for a tractor trailer. Uh, so we are back for another episode of the His and Her show. Of course, I am the his.
And I am the her, which means I'm always right.
You have been right on occasion. Diamond Case, Jamaican paper doll. It's great calling you something else. How you doing, by the way?
I'm blessed.
You blessed and highly favored?
Blessed and highly favored, like I'm awesome.
So it's been a whirlwind week.
I'm blessed and highly favored. You like, I didn't even ask you that. I just asked how you was doing.
Yeah.
I'm good.
No, don't go down that path, because if you go down that path, it's going to lead to Jamal Bryant, and we do not need to go. If you keep going down that.
You posted me. Did you see it?
No, I did not. What happened?
I did one of his sermons about making assumptions of people. So I did it like I was lip syncing in his voice.
Oh.
And I sent it to him, and he reposted it.
What in the world?
Here go my mother. He only reposted it because you had on a sports bra and some sweat.
Look, I don't mean no harm, but that might have had something to do with it.
Don't see that.
That might have had something to do with it. So we got protests going on across the country.
Across the country.
I want to start with the DC mayor, and we woke up to see Black Lives Matter being painted on the street in this big mural right in front of the street that's leading to the White House.
That's some action. That took some critical thinking, planning, and action.
Yeah.
But you that overnight and to make it look as perfect as it does.
It looks really good. She did her thing. She definitely did her thing. Like, were you surprised by this? Because I definitely was surprised.
I was surprised, and I was surprised on what street it was.
Right. Yeah. So and she renamed it Black Lives Matter Plaza. That area right there. So she is definitely going hard in the paint.
Yeah, that president gonna come for her. So I just hope that she got a clean record. You know, they come after people that don't conform into the box. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And she's definitely a out the box politician as it relates to that. Her and the president have been going back and forth a lot. So you feel as though it's going to be some consequences and repercussions for her?
Yeah. He's gonna try her.
Yeah, well, I don't think she's worried about that.
She shouldn't be.
Yeah. He has his own challenges to deal with. So tell me this. I talk often about the power of the black dollar and how we can really impact things by spending money where we choose to spend money. So Vince's Crab House, have you ever seen this place?
No, I have never seen this place, never heard about it until yesterday. Well, actually, yesterday. I'm sorry.
Right. And for those that don't know, so he has a bunch of little huts, houses, little restaurants that sell crabs, and from everything that I can see, he's a real piece of crap type of person.
Yes.
And so is his family members and all that are participating. So he said a whole bunch of reckless, racist things and he organized this large protest. He's been really targeted on social media and highlighted for the racist statements that he has posted online. He posted stuff, and
Really?
now he's being has really been brought to the forefront.
Yes.
So I have often said that this needs to happen to all businesses. If you have a client base, the majority of your client base, and you disrespect that client base, they still should not patronize you. They still shouldn't be going to your business. So I was glad to see this happen.
I was glad to see it happen. You know, last time when we spoke about the issue, you were like talking about, you know, the black dollar withholding from companies that feel a certain way about Black Lives That Matter and their subject. And I was hearing you, but again, I was still thinking like, Diamond, that's never going to work. Why? Because we go off a reaction. We are a reaction race. We don't think, we just go. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I didn't that our people would come together and conform into a unity and go down there and stop that man's business. And he thought that as well.
Yeah.
He thought they was just going to stay on Facebook. You know, he's going to shut his page down and was going to disappear because we don't have the mind frame to come up with something as genius as going down there and boycotting his restaurant. He thought it was a game.
Right. Right. He definitely did. He took it for granted. And a lot of times that has been the case. But something about this is different. Something about this movement is different.
And if you notice, a lot of people were from that neighborhood. It was a lady that said she's been buying stuff for him for at least 12 years.
Wow.
12 years of being a patron to his company. And he felt this way about Black people the whole time. Like, Black people lives don't matter, but our money matters to you. So we're not good enough to sit down at your home table to eat with you, but we good enough for you to take our motherfucking money. And I don't appreciate, he gonna say the only building that we won't burn down is the social service building. And I bet you he takes EBT cards illegally that he's not supposed to, but he takes them.
Yes, I'm sure. I'm sure of that. I'm sure of that.
100% sure that he's doing EBT fraud.
Yeah. Yeah, that is he's not the only business owner that's like that. And I'm glad that the mindset has evolved to that point, and I want it to continue to evolve. There are other businesses where our people are mistreated.
Yes.
So I want to talk. Well, I guess before we get to that, I want to talk about this total life changes TLC, that the company that sells Nutra Burst, something like that, some tea, some CB, whatever, you know.
Toothpaste.
Yeah.
They got water fillers. They got everything.
Yeah. So the CEO, Jack Fallon, was talking about, you know, not trying to downplay Black Lives Matter and saying it's all lives matter. And sometimes people get that confused. Explain to people why. I guess some white people and some Black people that may need this explanation. When you say Black Lives Matter and then somebody comes back with no, all lives matter, can you kind of enlighten them on why that is offensive?
Because right now we're not talking about all lives. Right now we're talking about Black lives. Right now you don't see white lives getting killed by police officers. Mexican lives being taken by police officers. They never make the headlines. Black people make headlines. For some reason, I feel like, are we that big of a threat? Are Black people that big of a threat?
Yes.
It seems like it. It seems like it. But yes, all lives does matter. But right now we talking about Black lives.
Right. And I don't know what's so complicated about that. Yeah, I just don't know what's so complicated about that. You gave an analogy from one of your friends that I really thought was profound when you were talking about the cancer.
Yes, her name is Monique. She's one of my Caucasian friends that I met through the job, and we always had that spiritual connection. And she put up a post again, like we talked about last week, of how, you know, you see people's true colors. The true racists are coming out of, you know, white people and black people. You're seeing how people truly feel. So someone else of Caucasian race stated to her, like, well, I'm for Black lives, but I don't understand because all lives matter too. And she said, all lives do matter, but right now we're talking about Black lives. And she gave the description on cancer. She was like, cancer kills, cancer sucks. But in October, we're talking about breast cancer awareness. And it is a cancer like any other cancer, but right now we're talking about breast cancer. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So all lives again does matter, but right now we talking about Black lives. We're not talking about white lives. We're not talking about Arabian lives, Mexican lives. We're talking about Black lives right now. This is the present issue. And it has been an issue for years.
Definitely.
Years.
Definitely. Definitely.
I also, another Caucasian friend, he had posted white privilege, okay? So it was a white man being arrested, just like George Floyd, but he said white privilege gets two knees to the neck. So it was two officers that had their knee in his neck. So of course I did the research. I think last year, a couple of years ago, a white man called for help. He was a schizophrenic. He called for help. They arrested him and ended up killing him by putting their knees in his neck. The difference is, Linwood, no one made a big deal about it because your race didn't make a big deal about it. So no one knew about the case because no one made the noise for him. You understand what I'm saying? But I'm sure if you took the courage and the focus on which you wanted the world to perceive that white lives does matter, you should have made some noise. You gotta make noise to be heard. You understand what I'm saying? And it's fucked up that he lost his life like that, just like George did. But we're Black. We come together. We believe in what we believe, and we don't care what people think. And we gonna voice our opinion.
Yeah, that sums it up pretty good. So you feel as though that because enough attention wasn't brought to this case, which is why we didn't know about it.
Yeah, no one spoke up for him.
Yeah, that's the case now. Also, I mean, I don't want it to just stop with the Vince's Crab House or the TLC company, the Total Life Changes. He has apologized. He issued what I call a PR apology from like a PR company or something. But it needs to go to these nail salons where different, ethnic people are not paying proper homage to the people that are keeping them in business. The sub shops, the corner stores that are owned by other people. Anybody that's not respecting you should not be patronized.
Exactly. The hood can go without them babies having cavities. They will last. Get them out of
What you talking about the cavities?
Huh?
Now, what you mean about having cavities?
Can invest in their cavities with them corner stores in there because all the junk food. Yo, you go to the corner store. Tell me if you can buy an apple or a banana.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
Liquor, blunts, tasty cakes, and noodles.
Yeah. So some companies are even in the past. Now, so what do you feel about a company who has been not as good as they should be to their clients, so Black people, and then they have a change of heart? So
Like,
something where they're apologizing or something like that.
it's too late. It's too late. Like Vince came with that video, yo. Like, would you change from being a racist in 5 minutes? It's not gonna work. Yo, I watched the video and then I turned it off because it's bullshit. You can't scam us. You're trying to scam us. Hell no. No, it's too late for you. You've been posting prejudice shit since Trayvon Martin. Talking about you hope Zimmerman gets off the case. Like, come on.
Right.
You are a racist. And then his sister gonna say black women with blonde hair. Yes, I took offense. It looked like Duracell battery, and bitch, you built like a car battery. Get out of here, honey boo boo.
Yeah, that was really crazy. And for so long, people, companies, businesses have been allowed to get away with this kind of stuff. So I don't know if you've been seeing online ever so often. You'll see this company gave to the Trump campaign, or that company gave to the Trump campaign, and people are like, oh, they should be canceled. That situation is a little bit more complicated because in some instances you'll have a business that may have a franchise, right? And so this company owns the business, but they sell franchises to different people. So you're a business owner yourself within this franchise. I mean, how deep do you take the boycotts, protests? To what degree? And if somebody has a political view, like if somebody supports Trump, right? That doesn't necessarily mean they're racist, or does it? What do you think?
As you said, it's a lot. Like, so no one's gonna eat Wendy's. I heard Wendy's gave them money. My mother works for Wendy's, so it's. I mean, we can, but it's gonna take a lot.
But it's complicated. So it's like, and that's what I mean. So let's say that, okay, let's use Wendy's for an example, right? So if the CEO of Wendy's, someone who can be fired, gave money, right? And then you have, let's say that you and your husband own and operate 5 Wendy's. Y'all don't support Trump, but the CEO of the company that you do business with supports Trump. So people saying, oh, and the Wendy's is in a certain neighborhood that y'all have. So people say, we're not gonna go to that Wendy's, right? You don't support that. You're a franchise business, and so it's hard to hold you responsible for those actions. Now, in the instance of Vince's Crab House, that's his business. It's specific, and the line that we can trace is really a simple line.
Right.
And some of these franchise businesses is kind of a little bit more difficult, but some people are doing it and putting that bad energy out there about some of those companies, and some people, small businesses, I think people are going to hold them more accountable than some of these large corporations.
But I also want to say, Diamond, like, things that people post on social media, people, be critical thinkers. Do your research.
Facts. Yes.
Do your research.
Just because they post it doesn't make it.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm down my timeline. They got a picture of this white lady, and they saying that she put on her page, "I hate niggas." So of course I did my research. I went to the young lady's page. I dug and dug. Come to find out, her account has been hacked by her ex-boyfriend that has been stalking her, been going to her job, and all this stuff. And it's not her posting it.
And he did it.
He did it
as a way to try to get her really messed up.
Exactly, because they don't care who was coming for the girl. But before I come for you, I do my research. You gotta research before you believe certain things, especially on social media. They make shit up. They Photoshop shit. You just gotta do your research.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Good point. Good point. So as far as the protests, do you think that things are going to continue? All of the officers have been arrested. All the officers have been charged with, some serious charges.
Mm-hmm.
However, protests have continued because this issue is bigger than that one case.
Right.
People seem pretty engaged right now, and they're pretty focused on some real changes. What is something that you could realistically see coming out of these protests and the activism that's happening, a real change that could legitimately happen?
You already know how I feel about the situation. I don't think it's ever going to change.
So that you don't think that there's anything like what's something that could actually happen that could make a difference that you could see happening, or there is nothing.
It's going to be a calm down on police brutality right now. We
Okay.
probably see less than of cases of them actually being brutal to African American men. It might calm down for a little bit, but again, it always comes back up.
Right.
You know.
I think one thing that could come out of this that's a lasting effect that could be helpful is some of the reforms to policing. If I think that the biggest issue that we have faced with police brutality is the fact that other officers, they say that's a bad apple, but that's not reflective of all police. We got good cops and mostly good, but you got some bad ones. That's what they say. And so if that's the case, the biggest problem is officers who are supposed to be good, who don't say anything when they see officers doing bad. So if we
Right.
can change that culture that they start speaking up when things is happening, if one of those officers, some of the officers they say were rookie cops. So if the rookie, I mean, you can tell what you're doing is right or wrong. You can see, you don't have to have years and years on the force to understand that this guy's being killed right now. Now, if the quote unquote good cops, if the culture changes where they start reporting bad behavior, or else if it comes out that you knew and you did not report, you're starting to be held liable as well as an accomplice. If that can come, I think that that's something that can come into play in existence and make a real change. What do you think about that?
I think that yes, I feel what you're understanding, but you also got to understand when the people come into law enforcement, they feel like that's my brother's keeper and that's my sister's keeper, and they are in fear of conformity.
Right.
You understand? And they know what is wrong. They know what it's, but to be in that conformity, they will deny all self-acceptance, everything that they believed in, their inner self, of they knowing what's right, of the fear of rejection of being in this group, and let it go out the window because they want to be in this group. You understand what I'm saying? They want to be accepted in this group. They're scared of not being in this group, and they're scared of the outcome of being the odd one out. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
And they're gonna get bullied. You know what I mean?
And
just
I think a lot of that has been happening. Yes.
Yeah. The fear of being bullied, the fear of being that guy or that woman that didn't conform with the rest of us.
And so they're gonna be scared to stand out.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a big problem out here. I mean, the police unions pretty much defend all officers no matter what. Like, I've never seen a situation where they like, yeah, officer was wrong.
Yeah, no matter what. Because I am thy brother's keeper, I am thy sister's keeper, and I got your six, no matter what. No matter what you're doing, if it's wrong or right, I'ma still have your back, no matter what, until I get that time. Till they tell me I'm about to get some time. That's when they start snitching.
and officers get fired from one and go to another. Did you see the situation where the elderly guy 75 was pushed down by the Buffalo police, hit his head on the ground, started bleeding from his ear, and they kept pushing forward, and one of the officers tried to check on him, and the other officers forced him to keep going forward, so they just left him laying there bleeding, and kept marching forward. Did you see that clip?
I think I did, and it's just like, as we say, like, and I bet he left. He left.
Yeah. I mean, my thing is in that, so they were defending, so
Of course.
eventually the two officers involved have been charged with assault, and they were part of an emergency response unit, and I guess this is like an additional job from their policing. So whenever some emergency happens, you have certain people that are part of the emergency response team that go out to handle that kind of stuff. So when they got charged with assault, 57 of the officers from this Buffalo force resigned from the emergency response team. They didn't quit being police officers. They stopped with the extra credit of the emergency response team, as a way to show solidarity. And it's like you being at school and you say, "Oh, what? You put the drummer, the drummer got suspended. We quitting the band. You're still a student at the school. You just ain't in the band no more." And so you had even the mayor was defending them and saying that they were doing what they were told to do, and that was it.
It goes all the way up, Diamond. It goes all the way up.
Yeah.
They're gonna walk with you and walk with you and walk with you until, whoop, you gotta let you go. You done fucked up.
Right. All right. So do you want to bring anybody on?
How am I bring anybody on?
No, I'm asking you. Do you want me to bring any people on?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Some people may disagree with what we're saying or whatever. So let's bring.
Everybody has opinions. They like assholes.
Yeah. I agree with that. Let me see. Anybody act normal? Uh-oh. Is that Pikachu? Hey, what's going on? All right.
Who's Pikachu?
I don't know.
Did they say Pikachu?
Well, no, I just said Pikachu because it is Pikachu. All right, so we're going to put Pikachu on hold, and we're going to go to Victor. Well, okay, so while we're waiting for Victor to come up, so I mean, generally speaking, officers seem to defend officers and stand up for officers, and I understand the concept of that. I do. You know what I mean? And supporting your own. I guess the part that I have confusion about and I wrestle with is that everything that your partner does, you don't agree with. You're not a robot. It's like a football team. Everything that if the quarterback, what was the kicker? The kicker that we had before Justin Tucker. Do you remember when he missed the big kick in the big game, and they cut his ass after that? You remember that?
Yeah.
The whole team didn't stand up for him then. You know what I'm saying? Because if you mess up, the team is going to, not stand by you. Agreed?
I agree. And if I'm on the street, even at my work, if I see another officer doing something I know that's not policy, I'm gonna be like, stop. I'm gonna pull you to the side. And I'm like, nah, we don't do it like that. We don't do it like that.
I agree. Yeah.
We don't do it like that. You take it off and don't like the fuck what I gotta say, then you just not gonna like the fuck what I gotta say. And you want me to get the fuck off.
No, I agree with that. Yeah,
anybody Anybody that seen that man on that man's neck, they should have gripped him up and pulled him off that man's neck and like, yo, we don't even get down like that. But they were scared. Conformity. They scared.
What is that about?
Yeah. What is that about?
What is that? Yeah, what is that about?
That man off that man's neck, all of y'all would have had y'all goddamn jobs and he would be still alive.
Yeah, well, that is true.
Oh, I'm a rookie. Let me tell you something, Diamond. Them being rookies have no excuse. Them being rookies is a great thing. That means they're fresh from out of school, which means they know policy in their head because they just came through training.
Right.
So they up to date on policy. They know more on policy, updations on policy, more than the veteran officers in the street.
I never thought about it like that. Yeah.
They have all the updates on what's going on policy because they just got out of the training academy. So they know more on policy than the veteran officers.
Right. Right. So
rookie has no excuse.
But you know, just like training day, they didn't want to get caught up in the drama.
Are you going to jail?
Yeah, so in Baltimore and in the area, they've had a lot of protests, peaceful for the most part. Down on your way in Texas, has there been any protests?
They had their protests. I don't know them. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Houston is so big. I don't know what them people doing. Mm-hmm. We had the big protests, you know, with George Floyd, and it was over 60,000 people in Houston, and that was a great thing. It was a great look. Tamika Mallory, she did a great speech, but if they still protesting now, I have no idea. It's kind of messed up that I do live in Houston, but I'm a Baltimore girl at heart. I stay up with my hometown.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's fair. That's definitely fair. So definitely we're talking about holding businesses accountable for their words, for their actions, for their treatment of people. His and Her show every Sunday. We are talking, you know, social stuff and wherever the conversation leads us. Go ahead.
My mother said that she got an email from the president of her company, and he used the word, you know, Black Lives Matter. And she said her coworker got offended because she doesn't feel that she's Black. She feels that she's an African American.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, maybe he wasn't talking about her then. What is she? I mean, she can say that, but she knows what the sentiment of what he was or she was trying to say. You know what I mean? Some people just gonna be extra for no reason.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Black is lady. African American is I hate saying the word. Go ahead and say it for me. Ethnicity. Say
ethnicity?
It. Yes, there you go.
Ethnicity.
Together. Get it together. You trying to be pro-Black and don't even know what being pro-Black is.
Yeah, well, I mean,
because I'm African American.
Yeah, it's
And then you'd be like, "Oh, you're an African American." No, I'm a Black American because I was from Africa. Like, come on, let's get it together, y'all. Let's get it together.
Yeah. So it's been a lot of backlash from this, but I definitely want people to understand that it's bigger. The reason why, because I think that in some instances, some things have happened with the police, and they said, okay, this is going to make people stop protesting because this happened, or this is going to make people stop protesting because that happened. But because this issue is bigger than just that one, tragic situation, that's why protests are still going on. You know what I'm saying?
People are tired. Like, it's getting old. Y'all just killing innocent. African American, Black men. I had to hit all categories.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, I could see if they was armed, but they unarmed.
All right. All right. Um, yeah, so that's where that stands. The the
Did you want to
the
talk about the gang members marching
Okay,
on?
yeah, that's fine. So you asked me a question about gang members protest, or do gang members have a right to protest? I thought it was a weird question, but you asked that question, and my answer was, of course, yes. Uh, because they are involved in criminal activity does not exclude them from. Many people have been involved in criminal activity to turn their lives around at a different point, turn their lives around at a later date, right? So I look at this as being a spark that can set them on the right path. Uh, anything. What are you? Because you're looking crazy. You're conflicted. What's going on?
I thought it was a double sword situation. It's like, yes, we need more people to march, but damn, we marching against violence, and here they commit violence, like killing other people, taking other Black people's lives, taking innocent lives because they're trying to shoot at another person. You understand what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
it's like a double sword issue. Like, I don't know.
What you mean?
I just don't know. Like, yeah, I feel that everybody has that right to protest. It's their right. Now, what they do in their hobbies and recreation, we can't say, oh, you can't march. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you can't do it because this is what you choose to do. This is your other lifestyle. But
Right.
as I said, as you said, I'm sorry, that hopefully it'll change them to become better. But you said they take a truce, right?
Yeah. Yeah. They haven't been. They've been unified, and there's situations where they're together because uh, it's a bigger issue here, and I said that people are more engaged now than they have been in many years. This is not just people just marching down the street singing "Kumbaya" or "We Shall Overcome." They are taking some actions, and some of the actions are aggressive. And of course, with anything, you got people that are trying to take advantage of a situation, and those people that are not really motivated and just trying to get what they can get, like take advantage of stuff. Those people fall by the wayside after a while when they realize they can't get over no more. Those people fall by the wayside. But the people that are committed, that are still coming out and protesting, are serious and really are tired and want change. And you're seeing younger people and you're seeing more nationalities, which I think is so good because it shows hope for the future. A lot of these old races, they're going to die off, and you have younger people of different nationalities that are supporting the movement of Black Lives Matter. Meaning, when you say that, you're saying that a Black life is just as important as any other life. Um, and when people are saying that of other nationalities that are younger, that shows us that when those people get older, they're going to be raising kids, hopefully, that have that mentality and not of a racist mentality. And I
It's
think that down the line, things will continue to improve.
it's kind of like I wonder why like white people or Caucasians, I'm sorry, like racism to them are like taught at a young
Yes, yeah, everything is taught.
in their household,
Yep.
but us as Black people, African Americans, we weren't taught. Like we weren't taught to hate other people due to the color of their skin.
Right.
Even back in the day when white people were segregated from black people, still black people wasn't teaching their kids to hate these white people that are oppressing us.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, just in general, black people are forgiving people and are good people. But for the longest time, our kindness has been taken for weakness, and we are far from weak.
Far from weak. Far from weak. Even when the guy was, I don't know which live you watched with Vince, he was in there trying to accept the man apology. I'm like, hell no. He has no, man, this man got black employees. Did he really feel like a slave master because he has black people working under him? Like, hell no, don't take his apology. Hell no.
There are crabs are very expensive, and there are way too many deserving black businesses and businesses of other nationalities that are more respectful to their clients than that loser Vince.
Exactly. And black people love crabs.
Yes.
Period.
Yes.
Crabs to African American culture in Baltimore is like a gathering.
Yes.
A gathering, a social gathering where we come together and just be happy, jolly, eating crabs and talking shit. Right. Like, crabs bring a party together.
Definitely. And that's heavily embedded in the culture here, and that's just something that we do.
That's something we do. Every holiday, Father's Day, crabs. Mother's Day, crabs. 4th of July, crabs. Everything. Graduation, crabs. Baby shower, we getting crabs. We getting crabs. Bushel of crabs. We spend money on crabs. Caucasians don't eat crabs like we eat crabs.
No, they don't. They don't. Not like that. It is ingrained.
Not buy crabs on your EBT card. You know, people was trying to find a way to still get your crabs on EBT, and they found the way.
Yeah.
You just let them sit in the fridge and cool down for a little bit because they not cooked.
Yeah. And so he and others like him have to be held accountable. I love that social media allows this kind of stuff to be brought to light. But you brought up such an excellent point. You have to do your research, though. We need the receipts to be able to prove the stuff, and not just something that's just said without without any proof.
Without any valid facts that
Yeah.
back it up.
Yeah.
I thought you was bringing somebody on. What, they ran?
Yeah, they don't want to talk on. You can be aggressive and you can throw people off sometimes.
You put me on mute anyway. I gotta wait till you unmute.
So I think one show I want us to just answer. I think we're going to do an answer show one time and just talk about some comments that we've gotten over things. Some people say that we laugh at things that are serious in nature and are not funny. They're upset about that. So,
No.
huh?
Right.
Right. And so I want to. I think sometime during the week, I want us to do a show where we just kind of. I want to show the complaint that they have about us and read the comment and get our thoughts on it now.
Hey, we try to make it light of the situation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's already bad situations, so we try to bring enlightenment to the topic.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Show that really, really pissed people off other than Jamal Bryant.
You said, is there a show?
Yeah, there's another show.
There's a couple.
You know, one of the top, besides Jamal Bryant, the other show that really pissed people off was when we was making fun of the doctor.
Yes. Levy.
Yes.
Yes.
Ah,
Yes.
that's for that.
Huh?
That was some hate right there. They said we were insensitive to the victims.
Yes.
We were insensitive to Dr. Levy and his family.
Another one that I want to visit, that one is I don't know if you remember this or not. Malcolm X's daughter was arrested, and I think she had like maybe some pit bulls in the car. She tried to rob something or whatever, and you just went into this laughing attack with, like, put a picture up and you just started laughing uncontrollably, and people were mad because they're like, that's you can't laugh at Malcolm X's daughter, and it is just so. You probably don't even remember that.
I remember because she looked and fucked up.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And so, yeah, so sometime during the week I want to do that. We're going to tape that. But yeah, so when we laugh at stuff, so I'm usually laughing at you. Okay, I'm usually laughing at your reaction.
Don't play that shit with me.
Well, I don't think I'm laughing. And that did it, just like I talk about these police officers pointing out when somebody do something wrong. There have been times when you've laughed at stuff, and I'm like, why are you laughing at that? You know what I mean? And you'll just be cracking up. Yeah, so that's gonna be fun. A lot. Some of these things go back to the time period when we were in that really, really small room. Yes. But of course, so every Sunday we are here talking, laughing at serious, laughing at serious subjects, and and all of that. We've even eaten. I think we've eaten on shows before too, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you're moved to Texas. You're not moving back to Maryland, correct? You can't believe you didn't move. Why you didn't move there sooner?
Yeah.
No, I get it.
Herbie gets homesick a lot, and I just be like, catch a spirit, nigga. Like,
yeah.
But as soon as he get there, guess what? He ready to come back home.
Because he sees that people are doing the same exact thing they was doing when he left.
Exactly.
He doesn't change, yeah.
Change. It's the same old recycling pattern.
Yeah, when I'm in Georgia and I miss Baltimore and I come back, I've always seen it's like the same exact. It's like I never left because it's exactly the way I left it.
When I come home, I just want to see my circle of friends, get me some crabs, go to a lounge, and see the important people in my family, and then catch a plane and roll back out.
Right.
That's it.
Right. I feel you. So we'll be back next week with more. Of course, you miss any episodes of the show, you go to radioonfire.com. And anything you want to say before we get out of here?
We have thousands of shows.
Yes.
They go on for days.
Anything you want to say before we get out of here, T?
Peace, love, and happiness.
Yeah, that's it. That sums it up. All right. See you next week.